I mean, would you be surprised if both of them are rep by CAA and both of them have the same, firm that comes in and redoes the PR altogether?
Yeah, it wouldn't blow me away at all. And it's not the dumbest thing because it only leads to endorsements and things like that, right? But he is definitely undergoing an image change. There's no doubt about it. So a lot to get to. We'll get to your best and worst as well. It is presented by Hemp Hill Services. That's who brings us best and worst every week.
Yeah, trusted name Birmingham's trusted since 1954. Our friends at Hemp Hill, whether you experience plumbing, heating, or cooling issues in your home or business, they are ready to serve you. 205-229-2090. Adam, Chad, Andrew, the guys there. Make sure you tell them the next round sent you. Hard to stop a train. For more information, hemphillservices.com.
Tyler says DeChambeau pulled the classic babyface turn. Different Tyler says Bryson hired a PR firm to revise his image. He's a dweeb and should not be liked. I don't think he's a smart guy. I mean, he's just he approaches it from a scientific and mathematics point of view that a lot of people don't really approach it from that same way. I mean, it's obviously he's extremely talented. You don't get there without being talented. But he's just a little more.
I'm watching that bunker shot right now on 18. That's amazing.
Where you would have either left into the bunker, and me too, by the way. Left into the bunker or hit the clubhit with it. What do you think?
Well, I hadn't hit a golf shot in 5 years, 6 years, so probably just would have whiffed altogether.
You just don't even make contact. Landmine Believer says, was yesterday as bad as Rory's meltdown at Augusta in 2010? No, that one was worse.
Yeah,
because that one started on 10. And
you
you had to watch the whole back nine.
And he was trespassing, wasn't he?
No, he hit it up in a cabin. Yeah. He was playing it out of a backyard. So
I mean, do you think Roy's going to win another one? I mean, the easy answer is yes, but
he's in the hunt for all of them.
But man, I mean, and you know how mental this game is. These guys are all super talented, obviously.
Yeah, it's just the opposite of what he normally does. Like what Rory normally does is
plays his way back into it.
He gets a backdoor top five. Yeah, shoots a 62 on Sunday to get a backdoor top five. I don't know, is he ever going to be able to put the 4 rounds together again that it requires? Yes, I would bet on him. He's just too dang good, man. Like, is it going to blow you away if he goes and wins the British?
No, not at all. And he's one of those guys, seems like if he wins another one, then he might have 2 or 3 more in him.
Yeah. I think he'll win another one. And, he could get to 5, 6, 7, 8, whatever that number is. I think he'll win another one. He's just too good. And
look at that right there. Most top 10 finishes. We're looking at the graphic on ESPN. He's got 21 top 10 since 2015 with 0 wins.
Yeah, that's in majors.
That's insane.
I mean, just think about that. 21 top 10 finishes in majors. Now,
so he's probably made more on tour since 2015 than anybody.
Oh, I would guess, yeah. Yeah, it wouldn't blow me away. I mean, a lot of those now are backdoor top 10s. To be fair, those are not like he was in contention all week. Those are like he shot 63 on Sunday.
I mean, this money
passed a ton of people.
It's just so massive. I mean, DeChambeau, for his share to be $4.3 million is crazy. But just cracking the top 10, you split. I mean, there were so many guys tied. $502,000. I mean, these guys are making a lot for top 10.
That ain't bad, is it?
No.
So we'll talk some more about that coming up. Here's some best and worst, as Lance mentioned, presented by the good folks at Hemp Hill. Best, the Cars Tribute in Trussville Entertainment District. All right. Worst, not having the UFL Championship on Sunday night. They played it at 4 o'clock.
Welcome in Braves country to the Pennant, Grace. I'm Emily Grace McWhorter. This is Sisk, and we are presented by Roback. Use code PG20 at checkout, and we couldn't do it without our good friends at Roback, could we?
How about that Father's Day?
Such a great post.
If you haven't, make sure you're following us at the Pennant Grace on Instagram and on X. But I had a Roback Father's Day. First question out of my mouth, Megan, did you use code PG20 at checkout? She said, of course I did. What is this, amateur hour? Of course I use code PG20, and I saved 20% of my order. Loved my shirt. Celebrating our 20th anniversary.
Congratulations.
Tonight, and I will be in my Roback shirt for that momentous occasion.
It's incredible. I'm not wearing Roback right now. I'm actually wearing the U.S. Open Pinehurst 2024. I think that's a good excuse. Let's chat about the U.S. Open. Can we? We're a baseball podcast, but I think we can go there.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on Bryson DeChambeau?
Yeah, great talk on the next round today about a sort of a character remodeling of Bryson DeChambeau. I think of what people think of him maybe is changing, and he's definitely established himself as a premier guy, one of those go-to guys. You get multiple majors, you get in some pretty elite company.
So my opinion on Bryson DeChambeau, before we get into the Braves discussion to give you guys a chance to get here and get settled in, I'm not the biggest fan. I'm going to be completely honest. And my opinion on this rebrand that he has done is he has a great publicist. He has a great PR team. But to me, it feels very, very calculated.
Yeah.
Even the fist pumps during the win feels very calculated. It's not as authentic. And this could be because we're coming off Scotty Scheffler, who in every interaction with the media after the tournament is very authentic. But I'm not convinced that Mr. DeChambeau is golden boy of the live.
Well, we've already seen this once with Happy Gilmore. You can't toss your club into the woods. You can't, do the bull dance and feel the flow. And so he had a PR person working with him.
Yep.
And so we've already seen this play out on the silver screen. You're probably correct.
All that to say, we are a Braves podcast, so we'll be chatting about the Braves today. We've got a Raves recap. Did I say Raves?
We are going to rave about the Rays series. Yeah.
We're going to do some offensive discussion and then talk about, obviously, the Detroit Tigers series coming up. But I want to start with the Rays. This feels like things are clicking again.
This felt like the Braves, didn't it? I mean, I think for all of us watching this weekend, that's how you felt watching that team. This feels right. This feels like the team that we know and love, and didn't get the sweep, but had a chance to get the sweep yesterday, which was pretty fun. Just to be able to get in it like that was great, and so it was just fun to score runs. We did see. In games 1 and 2, continued good start there. Chris Sale in game 1, and then a great start from Charlie Morton, which was really good to see in game 2. But the story of the weekend was absolutely the bats. And in particular, some players that we've talked about here on the show. Obviously, Austin Riley had a huge series.
Yeah. I think one thing that was encouraging for me was even last night, we did end up falling 8-6 in the game against the Rays, but there was a late inning comeback.
Yes.
There was some life in later innings, and we saw that again in Baltimore.
Yes.
I like that. And it feels like the cold snap is ending, and I don't want to call it too early, of course.
Right.
We don't want to get ahead of ourselves, but for the first time, I would say since early May.
Yeah.
Would we go that far back?
Absolutely, yeah. You're seeing back-to-back home runs. You're seeing like Braves baseball, right? You're seeing a lot of runs put up on the board, and you're seeing monster innings where you'll score big in an inning and have 4 or 5 runs.
I want to give you some statistics to back up this cold snap spell, if you will. So since Thursday's game against Baltimore, that was kind of the first win that it looked like things were starting to click. So the Braves are batting .297. They have 9 home runs, and they're averaging 7 runs per game. Prior to that, they were 24 of 41, batting .217, and averaging 3.4 runs per game.
Yeah.
That feels pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, the stats don't lie, and again, we're not getting ahead of ourselves, but just how it felt different when the Braves were losing, it does feel different now that the Braves are winning. And Goose says it best. There was some life, but I am hesitant.
Yeah, I think we all are. None of us want to get on this too early, but it was a good feeling, man. It was really fun to watch these games. It's felt like a chore a couple of times so far this season to watch the team, and that wasn't the case. It was just fun. One thing I'm interested in getting your opinion on, we have the Michael Harris injury.
Oh, yes.
Don't know how long that's going to be. It is a hamstring thing that can take a while. Obviously, speed is a big part of his game. He plays center field, so it's something that you just can't rush, and you got to let it play out.
Yeah.
Jared Kelenic, leadoff hitter. I've liked it so far.
I like it. And at the end of today's show, we're going to start asking a question for us to answer and for you guys in the chat room to answer. And we're going to talk about what is the most creative lineup configuration that could work. So I'm going to save some of my thoughts for that. But as of right now, it looks pretty dang good. Now, I want to ask you, do you think when we talk about the trade deadline, July 30th, we've played around with the idea of acquiring a starting pitcher or an outfielder? Do you think now, especially with the injury bug striking again, we're going to lead more into those outfielders even more so than we would have last week?
I think there's it's hard for me to say because I think they were definitely going to go in that direction anyway. And I think that you're going to see bullpen help, and you're going to see a outfield bat brought in.
I think that one thing that is interesting as we progress into the season, the injury bug continues to bite us.
Yeah.
And it's almost a question of how long can the Braves outlast it?
Yeah.
Right? Snitker said about Michael Harris that he's unsure of how long it'll be. It'll just be a long time, which isn't very encouraging. But I'm just interested to see over these next few months, the lineup that we thought we would have going into July and that we thought would be there in April, it's completely different.
It is.
And that's kind of interesting to see. And that's baseball, right?
Yeah.
There's not a lot of continuity, but that's okay.
I feel like Kelenic was jazzed to be in that leadoff spot too. I feel like he really liked that vote of confidence, and I just feel like that's a guy that's playing with something to prove. I think he's really happy to be in Atlanta.
Yes.
And that comes through, and I'm really excited for this guy. We've seen some glimpses of it, and again, I'm liking that pickup. But I think, yes, you're going to bring in bullpen. I think, yes, you're going to bring in an outfielder, and you could even bring in another bench piece, an infield utility guy as well. But every team now, as you get into middle of June, is having some injury issues, but I don't know if anyone's had them to the extent of the Atlanta Braves.
There is some exciting news for Braves country. Matt Olson is expecting and announced it on Father's Day.
I have so much advice. I give a lot of unsolicited advice, as everyone that here at Disrupt Media can tell you. And so I'll probably hit up Matt and just start giving a lot of advice that he does not need nor ask for.
Okay, give us your top 3 new dad advice off the cuff to Matt Olson.
Off the cuff. Get on a schedule as quickly as possible. Don't make a habit of having the baby in the bed with you. And this too shall pass. And keep that mindset at all times.
We're going to clip that and tag Matt Olson in it, so hopefully he can hear your thoughts.
He's probably never
firsthand.
Heard those things before
No,
either.
never.
Just
but that's
completely
important.
Original. Yeah.
On another note, we do want to extend our prayers to Austin Riley.
Yeah.
Tragic accident this weekend, and we're praying for Austin Riley as well as those affected by the tragic passing.
Yeah, and Austin spoke on that. Mike Brumley, who he had just seen while he was in Baltimore, and said other than his father, this was the most influential person, male figure in his life for his baseball career, and his kind of go-to guy specifically for hitting.
Yeah.
And the guy that he goes to for that, and you could just tell a close personal bond as well. And so, as you said, our prayers for Matt Olson and obviously for the family of Mike Brumley.
As well as Austin Riley. Speaking of Austin Riley, he is starting to come alive. We're seeing glimpses. Yeah. Yesterday, speaking of that game, it was an 11-pitch at-bat.
It was, yeah.
He was fighting, and it ended the best way you can only imagine. You wear out the pitcher, and then you hit a 2-run home run off of him.
Absolutely. It was just classic. And that's perfectly like you said, wear out the pitcher and then just drop the hammer. It was that about jumped up out of the seat when that happened. But, yeah, that felt vintage Austin Riley.
Is this the start of his return?
I sure would love to see it. To have him and Olson, for instance, joining Marcell in that power department, if you can get consistency from those 3 guys in power, that's going to go a long way.
Exactly. And when we look at pitching, too, pitching is still in a great spot. Some news as of today, we have Hurston Waldrop. He initially was designated to Gwinnett, but it's actually been revealed that he's now on the IL.
Yeah.
So dealing with some elbow soreness. And like I said, initially that was not the case. He was just optioned. And now it seems as though he's actually dealing with something maybe a little more than just some discomfort of being in the major leagues.
Yeah, I believe Forrest Wall brought up. Am I right in that?
Yes.
And so nothing new. Also with as far as how we all feel, we talked about this last time about Hurston Waldrop. Don't feel any differently about him. We all know he's not ready. Same thing kind of happened where you had that,
fourth inning.
Yeah,
it was interesting.
How about that? But I think they are super high on him, and I think everyone should be. This wasn't supposed to be his coronation where he comes in and stays, but he was valuable in getting them those starts.
Yeah, and I do want to say what Snit said about him. He said, absolutely he needs more time. I told him he's got stuff, he's got intangibles. He's got the whole thing, he just lacks experience. And like you're saying, we knew that.
Yes.
This was not a case of, oh, let's pull him up and let's see, what he can do. I mean, I guess it really was that. It was pull him up, see what he can do. Okay, the second time through the lineup is proving to be a little difficult for him. But I like what he said. He's got the stuff, he's got the intangibles, because you really can't teach that.
Top 4 in that, that pitching rotation has been so good that you can afford to play around in that 5th rotation spot.
I think it'll be good. Tom says he was there Saturday afternoon.
Hey, Tom,
Looks
I like that.
Our bats are coming to life.
Yeah, I bet that was a great atmosphere. Hot.
Yes.
Hot.
Oh,
it was a
goodness.
hot weekend, man. Hot here, certainly in Birmingham, but I bet the crowd was rocking and rolling for that one. That's really fun to see. It's just winning's fun.
It is fun. It's been a while since we have
Expert
won.
Analysis by me. Winning is fun.
So I was at a wedding actually this weekend, and it was 103 degrees.
Yeah.
Outdoor wedding.
Yeah.
Love the bride, love the groom. But there was a lot of discussion about the Braves down there in South Georgia, which was pretty fun.
I like it.
Lots of words of wisdom for Pennant Grace as well. So that was pretty fun. We have some listeners in South Georgia.
I like it. All over the place.
Braves country.
It's a global show.
It does. We extend everywhere. But this is also a good time to tell you that if you want to extend the wear time of your clothes, that was a great segment.
I love that.
That was so good. Rowback. We love Rowback. Father's Day just passed, and it was a Rowback Father's Day for you.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
Yep.
So use our code PG20. We simply could not do this show without Rowback, and we love them. If you need a tennis, you need a pickleball, you need a golf outfit, girls, that is where to go. What holiday is coming up that you could give someone Rowback for?
Gosh, we've got the 4th coming up.
The 4th of July.
And then, as you say, well, that's not a really gift-giving holiday, but if you look at the type of patriotic gear they've got available there, you're going to want it on the 4th.
Absolutely.
I promise you that. So the fit is incredible. The quality is second to none. Can't say enough good about Rowback. Rowback.com, code PG20.
All right, let's move into Tigers preview. Tell me about it. What are your expectations? And we do this a lot. What do you want to see in this series?
Well, again, this is a team that's really right there with Tampa as far as a record goes. I'm going to go ahead and be honest with all of our viewers here. I don't know anything about the Detroit Tigers.
That's okay. Truthfully, I was counting on you to know more about the Detroit Tigers than I was.
You'll let you down once again because I know their record, and you just not a team you hear a lot about, honestly, and not a team that's really been relevant on a national scene for a while. So you want to get wins, you want to take the series again, and so sweeps are awesome. That's obviously what you always want, but I'll take those series wins. Give me 2 out of 3. I'm happy.
Well, good thing we are not a Detroit Tigers podcast.
That is true.
Neither of us are very informed about this team.
No.
But what we want to be informed about is winning against them.
Yeah, and I want to see what we're like in that series. Does the lineup change? Does it look the same throughout that series? Yeah. And what are we doing bullpen wise? I'm going to be interested to see that as well. What does our bullpen look like? We got a chance to get a good look at Grant Holmes.
Yeah, Grant Holmes.
So Grant Holmes, who looks like he needs to either be tag team partner of Barry Windham, and they're taking on the Horsemen, or he's playing bass for 38 Special. Just incredible, like this big dude with this just super long hair and locks. The Hulk Hogan mustache. And this is a guy that has been putting the work in, been around a long time, and then finally gets in a game yesterday and did a good job. Obviously, you had a shortened start there, so the bullpen had to be there, and that was cool to see, and interested to see. It's always interesting to see how you kind of mix your bullpen in, but you've got your starters ready for that series as well, and so hopefully your starters are going to give you at least 6, if not maybe 7 innings, and so that'll be interesting to see in that Detroit series.
No, absolutely, and I like that we have the strength to play around with that, right? Yeah. Usually the Braves, I don't want to say usually because there's the 90s and the pitching was insane there, but I guess in the last 7 to 10 years, you could say. I guess even going before that, the pitching just we haven't been very confident in it, right? So now we get to play around with some things, and that's different. Usually we get to play around with the offense, not happening. And Goose brings up a good point. He says, I hope the All-Star breaks gives us a chance to reset. I know the bats might be getting hot, but maybe complete reset will help.
Yeah, I think that's a good point.
Yeah.
And, it's you pause, and then that second half of the season starts.
Yeah.
And you kind of see where you're at. So that's when you really start, and we'll be doing that here too on the show, because that second half's when you really start paying attention to those other teams, talking about those other teams, what they're doing, what they have going on. The Braves aren't the only team dealing with injuries.
No. And that's what's going to take us into our next little segment. But before I get there, it is pretty, I don't say shocking that we're already to June 17th, but we're getting closer to the All-Star break, and we're getting closer to the trade deadline, and really it all flies by from here.
It does.
So be thinking about that. We're going to be looking at some trade packages, and the time is of the essence for Alex Anthopoulos to start making some moves. So if that does happen, I'm sure we'll do like an emergency PG just to let everyone know what's going on. But it's kind of time to start settling into the second half of the season, if you will.
I mean, Ronald Acuna went down, and I stayed up way past my bedtime.
That's true.
So that we could talk about
that.
And
that was when I was at the beach. This week, you'll be at the beach.
Yes.
So we have settled on a schedule. I guess this is a great time to announce that before we get to our next segment. So we will be doing Mondays and Thursdays.
Yeah, Monday, Thursday, and we're going to try to hit this 12:15 sweet spot, give a little break after the next round ends, come to you at 12:15. We really like that, Monday, Thursday. There will be some bonus stuff in as news necessitates it, so we'll just kind of see how that works.
Absolutely. And we did that poll on Twitter. Thank you guys for participating. We love that. And we're basically making everyone happy because it was about 60-40. A lot of you guys wanted Monday, Wednesday. A lot of you guys wanted Tuesday, Thursday. So
it's kind of close. So we're like, Monday, Wednesday, that's not a ton of time in between shows. We like that Monday, Thursday.
Yeah. That takes us to Outside the Bubble. That's what we're calling it for now, a.k.a. MLB News. So you brought up some injury bug, right?
Yes.
We're not the only ones being plagued by it. Our dear friend, also the president of the company that I am currently employed by.
Yes.
Reed Taylor.
Reed Taylor, El Presidente,
Yes.
the Duke of Denham, Reed Taylor.
He is a Dodgers fan.
And a very knowledgeable
baseball.
Yeah.
So for those of you that don't know, if Reed had another job in life, or maybe his next job in life, I don't know, he would love to be a GM.
I could see it.
And he has the brain for it. It is so fun popping in and getting to talk baseball as a whole, because unlike a lot of baseball fans, he keeps up with the MLB as a whole for the most part. He's not in the bubble like we are with the Braves.
Right. We're going to have him on the show. And
we are.
Great baseball guy to talk to. But yeah, his Los Angeles Dodgers have been bit.
They have. And real quick, back to Holmes, he was actually the first round draft pick by the Dodgers in 2014.
2014. Yeah. 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Crazy.
He gave me that little tidbit this morning. But they are experiencing sort of what we feel like with Acuna, would you say? Would that be a good comparison?
Well, somewhat. So Mookie Betts is who we're talking about, but he's A, not going to require surgery, and B, they will get him back this season.
Eventually.
And so that's a different deal, but he's going to miss some significant time. I mean, you could be seeing middle of August?
Yeah.
Does that sound right?
Yeah, that sounds right. So he's not having to have surgery. It is his left wrist.
I think that's right.
And so it's fractured. Obviously not good for the Dodgers because they have been dealing with injuries just like everyone else. And I think we talked about this last episode. We get into our bubble and we don't look at what's going on with other teams sometimes. And the Dodgers are right there with us with injuries.
Yeah.
They also have Yamamoto, who went down with a shoulder strain. Not good for them either.
Yeah.
So those are two pretty significant injuries to the Dodgers. And then this is some good outside the bubble news. The Orioles take 2 of 3 from the Phillies.
Yeah, we just saw Baltimore. We know firsthand how good they are, so that is a battle of two very good teams that could absolutely be the World Series.
Yeah.
And I was so impressed with Baltimore, obviously very impressed with Philly. So, that's just, two really elite teams going at it. In the case of the Dodgers, we all see them as the class of that NL West, but I would be shocked if one of the wild cards does not come out of the West, and obviously that spot right now would be the San Diego Padres. They're a team that is capable, always seem capable of doing more than what they do, and so I would not be surprised at all to see the Padres at some point go on some type of run.
Yeah.
Now, would that be enough to push the Dodgers, make them sweat? I don't know. But I do think that they have a good shot at being a postseason team.
Another Phillies update and injury update, Trey Turner.
Yeah.
He's going to be back tonight.
Yeah.
Yep. So I want to read exactly right so I don't get it messed up. This is from CBS. The Philadelphia Phillies will activate shortstop Trey Turner ahead of Monday's game against the San Diego Padres, according to what manager Rob Thompson told reporters on Sunday. So he has not appeared for the Phillies since May 3rd after suffering a significant hamstring strain.
Yeah.
So this could be what we're looking like with Michael Harris.
Yeah. That could be a good series, by the way.
Yeah. So that is something just to keep in mind as Michael Harris is now entering the recovery time. Trey Turner was out for 6 weeks, and that was at the least amount of time. And it's notable that Turner has not engaged in a rehab assignment. Rather, he'll return to the Phillies lineup with no game action since the injury occurred.
Yeah. There we go. It's
Pretty
interesting to see
interesting.
how he does.
All right, our last segment. I don't know what I'm calling it yet. But this is going to be the hypothetical kind of fun question that we're going to break down with each other. We want you guys in the chat room to be engaged with it. So be thinking of a question. I said like PG Ponder. The PG Ponder.
Okay.
I don't know.
Pondering. Yeah.
Pondering question, but give us some helpful tips for a name for this. But essentially, I texted you earlier today, and I wanted you to come up with, and I don't know if you did the whole lineup or just like kind of top three. I did the first three batters in the order. But what is the most creative configuration of the Braves lineup that could work? And this has no rules. Whatever you think.
No rules.
No rules.
Thunderdome. Before this last few games, I would have said, how about Jared Kelenic at leadoff? No one will see it coming. We've seen that there. It's hard for me to think about what else you could do in leadoff that could really shake it
I
up.
agree.
That could work. Now, you could see Ozzie in it. Kelenic in that, I like that. So what do you have now? You have Kelenic, Ozzie, Marcel.
Yep.
At the 3. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like a guy like Sean Murphy, it's hard for me to put him anywhere above, 4, 5. Really, he's more of a 6, 6, 7. There's not just it's not one of those lineups to me that just like, oh, you could do this amazing amount of
Interchanging.
Yeah.
I think that there are some pretty set ways. This is what mine would be. Okay, so we keep Kelenic in the leadoff spot. I would say we bump Marcel, then Olsen.
Okay. So Marcel at 2.
At 2.
Matt Olson at 3.
Yes. And this is very time sensitive, you could say, because Olsen seems to kind of be catching fire a little more. I don't want to move Austin Riley up just yet.
Okay.
Not yet. I think I want to see him continue to make some strides. But imagining that leadoff group.
Mm-hmm. So who's at 4? Ozzie?
Ozzie at 4.
Okay.
Yeah. So it would be Kelenic, Marcel, Olsen, Ozzie, Riley.
Austin. Yeah.
I like it.
I like it.
I do too.
I would like to see that.
Thank you. Maybe Snit is watching us,
Yeah.
and he can get some helpful tips from
You're
us.
welcome.
Yeah. So maybe a new lineup in store.
Yeah, that's interesting. I like it.
Thank you.
I'd like to see
I
that.
pondered it. So you guys let us know, what is your most creative combination?
Yeah, give that to us on social media there on X at the Pennant Grace. Would like to hear your thoughts on what you would like to see as far as, hey, why not try this in the lineup?
Yeah. Well, that is going to do it for us over here at the Pennant Grace. Like we said, we are going to have more of a set schedule, you could say. It will be Mondays and Thursdays around 12:15, and there will be some fun shows in the mix.
Yes, and we do have
One more thing. Good.
An exciting giveaway.
It is. So
The best giveaway.
The best giveaway we have done, and this is our second giveaway already. What the heck? We are moving at lightning speed over here at the Pennant Grace.
We've already talked about July 4th.
Yeah.
What better way to spend July 4th than at the ballpark?
Exactly.
And so Braves taking on the Giants. Good classic rivalry game there. This is section 109, row 4, seats 13 and 14. That's in your lower bowl right field corner. Love that section.
So good.
Great place to watch a game. And we have got 2 tickets that we're going to be giving away.
We do.
To Pennant Grace Braves Country viewers.
Yes, and so management does not get mad at me. I'm going to read this exactly, and we are management, by the way. There's no one.
Yes.
We are the management.
Upper management.
But, okay, so if you want to win these tickets, July 4th, section 109, 2 tickets. Awesome, awesome, awesome. You're going to follow us on social media. There's 2 ways to enter, right? 2 ways. You can enter on Instagram.
Okay.
You can enter on X.
Okay.
And you can enter in both places, and that'll be 2 entries.
I agree.
So if you want to win these, there's a little cheat code. So we are going to post a graphic right after this show ends on @thepennantgrace, and that graphic is going to have some information in it. What you'll do on Instagram is you're going to repost that on your story, and you're going to tag a friend in the comments. Who should you take to the game?
Yeah.
Who do you want to take to the game, or who should know about us?
Yeah. So tag in your post there on X or in your Instagram story, or both.
Yeah.
A friend that you think maybe you'd like to take along that should be following us that maybe isn't there on the Pennant Grace.
Yeah.
And you do that, you're entered into the contest. Huge thanks to great friend of the show, Ward Smallwood, who has contributed to this. Appreciate him so much. And this is a really fun one. This is a chance to really give a viewer an outstanding 4th of July, and I love that.
Yes, it is. And it is. I went to the 4th of July game, I think it was 2 years now ago, with my dad.
Yeah.
And it is so much fun. The atmosphere is next level. If you haven't been to Truist, this is a great time to go.
They do it up big on the 4th of July. It's a really special, fun time, even more fun than normal. And so that's really cool. I love that we're doing this.
It is. So remember, you can enter on Instagram or X. You're going to repost that on your Instagram story as well as on X. Tag a friend that you want to take with you or someone that needs to know about us. And listen, we're going to run this giveaway through the weekend. So we will announce the winner next Monday, June 24th. So that'll be a week and some change before the 4th of July to make, because it gives you guys some time to make plans if you win.
Yeah.
But it's going to run for 1 week, okay? June 24th will be the cutoff. We'll announce it next Monday on our show.
I like
but
it.
that is how you enter our giveaway. We want to see you guys out there. Maybe we'll throw in a next round t-shirt to wear to the game.
There you go.
If you need,
It's a good idea.
A little something. Or,
until we get our own merch.
Yeah. Which we do have some prototypes out there.
We're working on it.
We're working on it.
I promise.
But if you want to wear Roback to the game, you know what code to use.
PG20 at checkout. It's going to save you 20%. Can't beat that.
It is. So thank you for tuning in, guys, to the latest episode of the Pennant Grace. We will be back here Thursday at 12:15. Enter our giveaway. We appreciate you guys, and use code PG20 at Roback's checkout.